guys, finished. I finished my sweater. I even managed to dry it in time to film this. More about that in a minute. I also finished something else, and I've cast on not one but two new projects, all getting ready for my holiday to Norway in a few days. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website yarnaddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So yes, I did finish this sweater. Before we talk about this sweater that I finally finished, actually it didn't take me that long, but before we talk about that, let's just talk about my birthday discount. I have now had my birthday. I am 55 last weekend, and my birthday discount carries on till the end of the month. I did have 15% off yarn. That will actually have finished by the time this video goes live, because I have to close my shop because we're going to Norway in a few days. So my online shop is now closed until middle of September. Probably reopen it on like the 11th or 12th. So if you missed that on the yarn discount, sorry, next time you need to be quicker. But you can still get 15% off my online courses until the end of August. You can also get 25% off my patterns from Ravelry and PayHip until the end of August. The code for both those offers is birthday with capital letters. All the details and links are in the notes below this video, so do go and check that out, and I'll put the code on the screen as well. I finished this sweater. I actually am filming this a day later than normal. I'm filming it on Wednesday. Normally I film it on Tuesday, but I'm filming it a day later because this thing really took a long time to dry. I finished this on Monday evening and I immediately blocked it. I didn't really feel like blocking it, but I thought I have to, otherwise it's not going to be dry, and I was hoping it'd be dry enough by Tuesday afternoon to film this. This morning when I got up, Wednesday, it was still quite damp. So I turned the heating up and put it on the radiator to dry, and it's finally dry. I really desperately wanted to film it this week because I won't be filming a podcast next week. I might film one from Norway, but I don't know yet. But I may not be able to talk about this next week. I think I'm going to take it to Norway, but I'm not 100% certain yet. I do want to take it. It just depends on space. So I was desperate to get it dry, and I have to film today, otherwise I won't get the podcast edited enough in time for tomorrow. Luckily, we have better broadband now. We had full fibre broadband put in a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and instead of my videos taking hours to upload to YouTube, last week I think it uploaded in like an hour on the laptop. If I do it from my phone, it uploads a lot quicker, but uploading it on a laptop takes longer. I guess it's because it's higher resolution or something. I don't know. So I am wearing this sweater. I am really pleased with it. I finished the first sleeve on, I think, Saturday evening, and which was this sleeve, and I wasn't happy with it. I decreased on the sleeve till I had enough for 5 repeats of this stitch pattern. So probably to about there, and then I worked the stitch pattern. But it meant that the fit of the sleeve was kind of like it is on the sleeve all the way down. Sort of, there's a bit of ease, but not a massive amount of ease. And as I started knitting the second sleeve, I was thinking, because this stitch pattern, I was thinking I'd really like the sleeve, the bottom of the sleeve, the lace bit, to be a bit wider. So on this sleeve, I started the lace earlier, and I only decreased till I had enough for 7 repeats of the lace. So the repeat is 12 stitches, so I had to stop quite a bit earlier. So I probably got about there on the first sleeve, so probably about half the lace on the original sleeve. So instead of ripping back the first sleeve and re-knitting it, I thought I'll knit the second sleeve with my second idea, and then if I like it, I'll rip back the first sleeve till I get the right number of stitches and then re-knit it. So I was really happy with this. It looked good. It looked even better when I blocked it because this is relaxed a bit. So it's not like massively different. It also looked like it was a little bit short. I actually stopped. This sleeve was a little bit shorter than the first sleeve because I was worried about running out of yarn. I waited yarn before I started the first sleeve. I didn't wait after I finished the first sleeve, so I didn't know how much yarn my first sleeve took, which was a rookie mistake really. And I had more yarn, but I didn't want to break into another ball. I used 4 balls. I haven't weighed the sweater. I know there was a bit in this this kind of color, pale color, that went into this kind of white color at the start of one of the balls. So I was in a bit of a tangle, and I took it off to try and rewind it to untangle it, and it got in a worse tangle, so I just cut it off. So there was a couple of bits at the end of a couple of balls that I just didn't bother using. And I also didn't want to, when I ripped back this sleeve, I wanted to re-knit it in the yarn I'd used, because when I finished this sleeve, I used the next bit of yarn to pick up here. So you can see the colour here carries on from here. So if I finish this and then had to use this to lengthen this, it would, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, but it wouldn't be exactly the same colour progression. Having said that, if you want accurate stripes and colour progression, colour sequence, you do not choose a yarn like this. You want to choose two or three colours and deliberately stripe it. So I use Sabable cotton, which is 100% cotton from Shopple. I have left the labels downstairs, but it's a yarn I really like knitting with. I've never knitted a garment in it before, and I like it. But the problem is with Shopple, with all the Sabable yarns really, the colour sequence, well, I think the colour sequence is probably the same, but the balls don't start from the same point. So if you've looked at 2 or more balls of Sabable, chances are they will look different. Sometimes they can look very, very different, because I will quite often, if people are looking for a specific colour at a show, I will quite often, if I have more than one ball, I will show them several, because they start from a different point. And all the 4 I used actually start from a different point in the colour sequence. And I don't know whether they have like a definite colour sequence anyway. But so trying to match here, for example, was very difficult. I tried doing it by breaking the yarn and stuff. I didn't want to manipulate the yarn too much, but you can see I got more purple here than I do here, but that's fine. The back is different from the front. It starts, as you can see, less pink and more of the white, pale yellow. I don't mind that really. I really like it. You can't really see it when I'm sitting down, so I'm going to take a bit of video after this in the bedroom, and then you can see what it looks like when I'm wearing it. I'm very, very pleased with it. It goes nicely with the pink t-shirt I'm wearing. I like the neckline. I was worried that maybe it was I was worried it was too low, and I ripped it back a couple of times. Then I was worried maybe it was too small, but I really like it, and I'm happy that I chose this purple to edge it with. I waited till I got, I can't remember now, I think it might have been when I joined here to knit all the way across, one of the balls finished on the purple, so I put that aside and used that to knit a neckline, but I can't remember. All the edges are done in garter stitch. On the bottom of the body there is just like a garter stitch hem, and then I cast off in pink. I think I actually broke the yarn and chose one that started with pink to cast off, because I didn't want to cast off in this. I didn't really want this like white colour at the bottom, pale pink, whatever it is at the bottom. But I'm really happy with it, but it is definitely a bit of a crazy sweater. As you can see, the sleeves don't match at all, which I don't mind, but I know that that would drive some people crazy. I am actually thinking about re-knitting it in a different yarn. So I have some, I think it's alpaca and merino. I have 3 skeins of it. I bought it years ago when I was still doing hand-dyed yarn. I bought it wholesale. I thought I had more than 3, but I can only find 3. And then, but I also have 3 skeins, I think, and some other skeins of some yak and silk and merino that I had other plans for, and dyed colourway. And then I have some pink dyed colourway and a gradient of the same base yarn that I have left over from magazine design that I also want to do something with. So I'm thinking about the pale pink alpaca merino blend. I would probably choose a skein of bright pink yarn from my stash in a different blend. And I am thinking about doing this sweater again and deliberately striping the laces section, but probably only the laces sections. So upper body and the sleeves, and then the rest be a solid colour. But I don't know yet. I'd like to do that. There are a few other things I need to do first. I have another lot of yarn. I want to knit a winter sweater, and I really wanted to do that when I get back from Norway because I love the colour. And I got it the yarn in the spring, I think, late spring maybe, and I desperately want to knit a sweater with it. It also just depends on how busy I am with deadlines and stuff like that. I do have, I'm just looking at it and I was thinking about bringing it down, but I won't because it's hanging up on the wall. I have my advent calendar from last year from Truly Hooked, which is 4-ply, and I really want to knit that up before this year's advent calendars come out in December. I have plans for it. I know what I want to do with it. I haven't decided on the stitch pattern. I was considering taking a few of the skeins to Norway with me and casting on, but I think it's going to be too much, take up too much place in my backpack. When I travel to Norway now, I have left enough clothes at my parents' house. Like, I've left all the clothes I need, so all I really need to bring is what I'm wearing on the day. But it's all the extra stuff I need to bring, like mobile phone chargers, power banks, because my phone goes flat very, very quickly, and all my travel documents are on my phone, and I listen to podcasts and all that kind of stuff. Um, Earbuds, travel documents, medication, my liquids bag, my, what else have I packed? Makeup. Doesn't sound like a lot, but my backpack is quite full. Knitting stuff. I need to work on the design submission next week. I'm trying to get it finished before I go, but I just had another thing through this yesterday about design submission for a magazine. I don't think I'm going to have time to finish that before I go. So I have to bring my notebook. I'm not bringing my laptop, so I have to bring my notebook so I can make notes about this design and like chart out any stitch patterns and things, and my sketchbook, which is quite small, but it still takes up space, and pencil and pen and that kind of thing to do sketching with. Kindle, tablet, phone. I'm sure there's more in there. So I do struggle with space, so I am very, very careful when it comes to packing knitting. I would also like to have the opportunity to buy yarn in Norway if I find something I like. Probably won't be a lot of yarn shopping. We are going into Oslo for one day, I hope. I'm going with my husband. We're going for 13 days, so we'll have 11 days in Norway. The plan is to go into Oslo for one day. There is one yarn shop I'd like to visit, but it's not in the city centre. So depending on what else we decide to do, I may or may not be able to do it. But when I go in November with my youngest daughter, she's going to be there for 6 days, but I'm staying for over 2 weeks, maybe nearly 2.5 weeks, 15, 16 days maybe, I can't remember, but I've got over a week and a bit there on my own. So I might go into Oslo then and do a bit of a yarn shop tour so I can film that for the podcast and visit some other yarn shops than I did last year. Yeah, it's a year ago. Last September when I was in Norway, I filmed a bit of a sneak peek in 3 different yarn shops that I visited in Oslo. So I will link that video at the end of this video and below if you haven't seen it. So I don't know how many yarn shops I'll be visiting. We'll see how it goes, exactly what we do and stuff, and how much help my parents need. I know there's things they would like help with when we're there, like cleaning out the storage room in the garage and that kind of thing, so we'll see. Anyway, back to the knitting. So I've also finished the first of my husband's socks. After I finished this, I tried to finish this, and I finished the first sock last night. So that's where I was last week. So this is knitted from the top down with an afterthought heel and a swirly heel. So this is from my Aventuras pattern, and I just did a wedge toe. So I knitted from there to there last week. Very happy with it. I haven't cast on the second one yet. I did consider casting on the taking it with me to Norway, but I've decided not to. I will leave it till we get home, and I'll probably aim to finish up when we go to YarnAddict at the end of September, because there'll be a lot of car knitting and show knitting and stuff like that. So I have cast on something new. I've dug out an old project bag I haven't used for years. When I knit socks, I usually use this tiny one, which is actually like a makeup bag from a Spanish company, I think, called Bimba y Lola. They have loads of shops in Spain. They have shops in London as well, and other countries possibly as well. But I bought this a few years ago. I used to have it in pink as well, but I can't find the pink one. And then I've attached like a carabiner hook, is that what they're called, to the end. And then I use this for socks because it's perfect size for socks. And if I'm taking a small handbag out with me, I can just clip this to the strap on my handbag and then take it out and about with me. So I need another small project bags for this project. So I found this one, which I've had for years, must be like 10-15 years at least. It's from an American company called Tom Bin, and I must have bought it when it was still easy to buy stuff from the States without being stung for customs charges. It's got like a thing inside there you can thread the yarn through, and it opens up. So if you have to take the yarn out mid-project, you can. It's got drawstring and it's got a hook on the outside if you want to attach it to your handbag. And I thought this would be perfect for the project I'm knitting. So I've had this yarn bound for a while. Look at that's gorgeous. Pink sparkly sock yarn from the Discreet Unicorn. Silver sparkle sock, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. It has 400 grams per 100, 400 meters per 100 gram. And it is in Barbie pink. I wound this a while ago to use it for swatching. Then I didn't use it. So I've been keen to use it because it's been lying on my desk for a while. I do actually have a hat that I knitted last winter in a yarn very similar to this. Don't think it's Discreet Unicorn, but it's basically a very similar pink to this. But it's like a single layer hat with a fold up brim. And then after I knitted that, I knitted another hat where I did like a double layer hat, a bit like the Musselburgh hat by Solda Teague, except I didn't use that pattern. I just made up my own recipe. I knitted one for Simon before we went to Norway last Christmas. I finished it at the airport on the way to Norway last Christmas. And then when we came home, I cast some for me in pink variegated yarn, which I really, really liked. I didn't use it a ton, but I did use it, and I was thinking maybe I would like a sparkly pink one because I couldn't think what else to do with this yarn. I didn't want to use it for socks, so that's what I've decided to do. And I've cast on for the top of the hat. So you basically cast on for the top, you knit it to here, knit back up there, and then you decrease back for the top. So you end up with like a tube that's closed on both ends. That makes sense. So I've cast on, knitted the first few rounds. So this can now go in my bag for my holiday. I will probably knit on this in the car on the way to the airport, and at the airport on the plane if I knit on the plane. I don't always knit on the plane because it can be a bit cramped, and it's only a 2-hour flight, so sometimes I just read on my Kindle or try and have a snooze or whatever. But I'm thinking that doesn't take up too much space, so hopefully I'll be able to fit that in. And then when I'm in Norway, that will probably be my out and about project. And the reason I decided to take a small project to knit on out and about is because my other project I'm taking with me is a little bit more difficult. So I did talk about this a few weeks ago, that I was thinking about taking this yarn. This has been in my stash for I don't know how many years. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I bought it online or in a shop. I have no idea, but it is 2 tiny balls of gold, basically. So it's Kiviat blends. So let me just find the label. So if it's a bit of noise, I have a tin to put my beads in and put them in there yet. But so it's a brand called Kiviat with a K. I'm pretty sure it's called Kiviat. Windy Valley Muskox, Alaska. So I don't know whether the Windy Valley Muskox is the brand, but I don't. Oh, and this is the type of yarn. I don't know. Anyway, called Kiviat. So on here they say 45% Kiviat with a K, but most places say Kiviat with a T. So I don't know what's correct, but I think it's Kiviat with a T. Unless Kiviat with a K is an Alaskan word, And Kiviet with a T is English. I don't know. If you know, let me know. So that colour is 45% Kiviet, 45% extra fine merino, and 10% mulberry silk. It's 218 yards, which is about 200 meters, I think. 28.5 grams. And then this one, which is a little bit different, is 50% Kiviet and 50% mulberry silk, same meterage, same weight. And a few times I've taken these out thinking I will knit a shawl with it, and I've never gotten around to it. And I decided I would knit a cowl. It's either going to be a cowl or an infinity scarf, which I will knit straight and then sew the ends together, and I'm hoping it'll be long enough that I can loop it around twice. I cast on yesterday because I want to make sure the stitch pattern I've chosen works out the way I hope it will. So I cast on yesterday and I knitted a few rows. Well, I charted out the stitch pattern. I knitted till enough that I could see that I didn't like the stitch pattern, ripped it out again, charted out something else, started knitting that, then changed my mind again, and then cast on again. So hopefully it'll be okay now. So you can't really see anything. I've just done like 3 rows or something. So I'm going to try today and tomorrow to actually knit the stitch pattern through once, just to make sure I'm happy with it. Because I'm not taking my laptop with me, I can't make any changes to the chart when I'm in Norway. I can do everything else on my dad's laptop. I can borrow my parents' laptop and reply to emails and things like that, but I can't do stuff that requires charting because of the special software I have, and I can't do stuff when it comes to my own self-published patterns that requires layout. So I write all my own patterns in a program called Page Plus, and I don't have that on my parents' laptop as well, obviously. So, but I'm not intending to do any work in Norway apart from perhaps replying to a few emails if I have to. So this is a fairly small project that will take me a bit of time because it's beaded brioche knitting, so it's not super easy. It's not something I can just motor through in no time. So hopefully that will be enough for knitting at my parents' house when we're at home relaxing. And then my hat can be my out and about project, because this is going to be a little bit difficult to knit on out and about. I could possibly knit on it in the car, but with beads and things. I've done beaded lace knitting in the car before and it did not go well. I think we were maybe driving to Cumbria for Woolfest. It's quite a few years ago, and Simon just swerved slightly. I had the beads in a tin and I had the tin open on my lap, and he just swerved slightly and the beads went everywhere. So I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm going to pack that in my bag. I'm going to take it downstairs and knit on it a bit today, next couple of days, just to make sure I'm happy with the stitch pattern, and then put it away. I'm hoping to do one repeat of the stitch pattern just to see if I'm happy with it, and also how much yarn they use, so I can try and work out how many repeats I might be able to get and how long it will be, to make sure that I've got the width right and the length right for what the finished product I want. So that's my plan. And then I need to do a lot of swatching between now and as much swatching as I can between now and leaving. I've got 2 design submissions for one magazine. One's due while I'm away, one's due a couple of days after I come back, so I can always do that one when I come back. It'll be a bit of a rush with getting the swatches knitted, but I might try and knit the swatches before I go and then put it all together when I come back. Then I had another email from another magazine yesterday, and I think it's for 3 issues, and that deadline is, I think, a couple of days before we come back, and I don't think I'm going to have time to knit very many of those swatches before we go away. So if I decide to submit to that one, I probably have to raid my mum's yarn stash in Norway and use that, which is why I'm taking my sketchbook, which is tiny. So my sketchbook is just this size, it's not very big. So I will have to take that, I think, and do a little bit of work like that in Norway. I've worked on design submissions in Norway before. I was hoping to get the 2 for the first magazine done before I go, and then I had this one for the second magazine, and so I'm probably going to have to do that in Norway. Thing is, if you don't submit, then you miss out on several issues or potential design commissions, and I don't want to do that. So that is what I'm planning to take with me to Norway. Before we finish, I have lots of events coming up this autumn. First, coming up in September, I'm teaching a Mobius workshop, a spinny yarn in Bovey Tracy in Devon. You contact them at spinnyyarndevon.co.uk to book and find out details about the workshop. So Mobius is basically, this is just a little sample I did to show different stitch patterns and how that works in a Mobius. So the cast on is the purple bit, the green is the body, and the blue is the cast off. And it has like a continuous edge. So that's where I started casting on. If I follow this around, this blue edge all the way around, I end up back where I cast on. No right side, no wrong side. It's great for things like cowls and scarves and that kind of thing. And I love teaching it. The cast on is a little bit challenging, but we spend quite a lot of time on that in the morning. And then in the morning we're going to work on the cast on so you get the hang of it. Work just a plain ring for a few rows, and then we'll cast on for an actual pattern. I also have this one that I designed. The pattern we're going to do in the workshop I can't find at the moment. I think I had it here yesterday, but I don't know where I put it. But this is one I designed for an issue of The Knitter, I think, or it might be Simply Knitting, a few months ago. And it is just a nice way to kind of wear a cowl around your neck. I've done a brioche one as well, which ups the difficulty level a little bit. This one's got picot edging. Let me see if I can show it to you with the cross. But you make the cross as you cast on. So instead of casting on and then just giving it one full twist, which is some patterns will do, or you can also knit a strip and then turn one edge and join the two ends together. This twist is built into the cast on, and it's not just a normal cast on that you accidentally get a twist in. You actually knit in both directions at the same time. So if you look here in the middle, purple bit, that's the cast on the first round. Then you knit in both directions at the same time. So when you've done one round, you've added a round this way and that way. So that's what makes it really special. And I'm teaching that at Spinny Yarn on the 17th of September. I'm teaching a workshop at the Knitting Hotel. I didn't write that one down. Farrell and Steaking on the, I think it's the 15th. 15th or 16th, might be the 16th. It's a Saturday. Knitting Hotel is a weekend retreat, so it may already be full. There may be space for a day guest, either a local day guest who just want to come for the day, or for someone to come for the day and stay somewhere else locally. If you're interested in that, contact Belinda at the Knitting Hotel. The Knitting Hotel and Spinny Yarn will be linked below this video. Then at the end of September, it's in my notes, I'm just trying to find it, 27th, 28th and 29th is Yarndale in Yorkshire. I'll be there selling my yarn, patterns and accessories, and I'm also teaching continental knitting. That may be fully booked, I'm not sure. Check out the website if you're interested. Loads of workshops in October as well. I'm teaching a series of workshops in Liskeard in Cornwall, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th of October, I think it is. I'm teaching workshops in Liskeard on brioche knitting, intarsia and Farrell knitting, and on the 5th of October I'm going to be at the Three Bags Full Wool Market in Liskeard. And then I've got more workshops at the Knitting Hotel in October, including brioche and a clutch bag workshop, so my colour clutch and my glamour clutch at the Spinny Yarn in October, end of October. And then I'm going to be at Stitch Fest on the 2nd of November. Stitch Fest is a yarn show in Devon in Newton Abbot Racecourse in Newton Abbot. I'm teaching finishing techniques half day on the Saturday, and then a couple of days after that I'm off to Norway again. So that's coming up this autumn. Everything is on the workshops and online courses page on my website, which is linked below, so do go and check it out, and contact the shop or venue if you're interested in booking. I think that is it for today. Let me just quickly check my notes. Yeah, I think that's it. Don't forget my birthday offer. You can still get 50% off my online courses and 25% off all my patterns at Ravelry and Payhip until the end of August and 2024, that is. The code is birthday in capital letters, I'll link my website where you can find all my online courses, and I will also link Ravelry and Payhip below. You can also find links to all my social media below. I am now on Blue Sky, as well as Twitter, Threads, Instagram. My handle on all of those is YarnAddict Annie. And then I also have a Facebook group, Love of Lace Knitting. So do come and join me on any of those as well. Tuesday this week, the video I put out on Tuesday was how to weave in ends in lace shawls. So I filmed it when I finished my new version of the Murana shawl. I showed you how to weave in ends along the edge of the shawl, in the middle of the lace pattern, and in the garter stitch section of the shawl. So that was out on Tuesday this week. I will link it at the end of this video and below. Do go and check it out if you haven't seen it already. There will be 2 videos as normal next week, Tuesday and Thursday, but there may not be a podcast this week. I've recorded quite a few videos, so I have plenty to put out. I can't remember what's coming out on Tuesday next week, but if I don't get a chance to film a podcast in Norway before next Thursday, I will, or if I haven't done enough knitting to really make it worth filming a podcast, I will just schedule one of my other videos that I've pre-recorded instead. So there will be 2 videos next week, but I don't know what they will be yet. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I will see you next time.